All right, so you're a pro in the beauty industry. You've spent years, maybe even decades, perfecting your skills. But have you ever stopped and thought, what's next? What if the next big step in your career isn't just about what you can do, but about what you can teach? Today, we're going to dive into how you can turn all that expertise into a real legacy by becoming an educator. And we'll use the Louisville Beauty Academy's instructor program as our guide. And really, this is the big question, isn't it? You've got the skills down pat, you know the theory like the back of your hand, but can you pass that on to someone else? I mean, really pass it on. Not just the knowledge, but that spark, that passion you have for it. Because inspiring someone, guiding them, shaping their career, that is a whole different ballgame. Okay, so how do you actually make that leap? It's not as simple as just waking up one day and deciding you're a teacher. Nope. This first part is all about that transition, the structured journey you take from being an amazing practitioner to becoming an inspiring educator. And that's why having a clear path is so important. You don't have to figure this out all on your own. In Kentucky, for instance, the Board of Cosmetology has already laid out the roadmap for you. The whole point is to take all your amazing passion and skill and channel it into a proven system, turning it into a real licensed profession. 750. That's the magic number. That's how many clock hours the Kentucky Board of Cosmetology requires for you to become a licensed instructor. And yeah, it's a big commitment, no doubt. But think of it as an investment, It's the time you put in to make sure every single educator out there meets a really high standard of excellence before they ever stand in front of a class. So what on earth do you do for 750 hours? Well, it's not about going back and relearning the techniques you've already mastered. Not at all. The whole focus shifts to how to teach. It's about teaching methods, professional skills. Really, it's about being ready to train that next wave of talent in our industry. Okay, so with that in mind, let's dive into the first big phase, building your teaching foundation. Because look, before you can even think about lesson plans or classroom management, you've got to get the basics of education down cold. This foundation really has three key parts. First up is orientation. You got to know the rules of the road, the state regulations, what's expected of you. Then you get into something super interesting, the psychology of student training. This is all about understanding how people learn, what makes them tick. And finally, you get an introduction to teaching, which covers the different philosophies that make a teacher truly great. And this right here is the absolute heart of the matter. It's a huge shift in how you think. See, as a practitioner, your success is all about what you can do with your own two hands. But as an educator, your success is measured by how much your students grow. It's a massive change, going from being the doer to being the inspirer. All right, once you've got that solid foundation, it's time to start filling up your instructor's toolkit. This next part is all about the hands-on, practical skills you're going to be using day in and day out in the classroom. And we're not talking about abstract theories here. These are actual tools. You're going to learn how to outline and develop a course from scratch, how to plan lessons that people actually want to be in. You'll get into different teaching methods, how to use visual aids, and even how to nail your demonstration techniques. And, just as important, how to carry yourself with that professional leadership presence. The end goal here is pretty simple. It's to make sure you're an engaging teacher that students love to learn from. I mean, we've all been in those classes that just drag on, right? This is about making sure your classroom is the opposite, a place with energy, where things are clear, and where real learning is actually happening. So, theory is great. Having a toolkit is essential. But let's be real. Nothing, and I mean nothing, beats actual hands-on experience. And that brings us to what might be the most important part of this whole journey, mastering the classroom. This is where it all comes together. What's really smart about this program is how it eases you into the classroom. It happens in two stages. First, you start as a teacher's assistant. Here, you're mostly observing. You're in a live class, soaking it all up under supervision. But then, you graduate to pupil teaching. Now, you're the one up there delivering the lessons. But, and this is key, you've still got that safety net of an experienced instructor right there with you. Yeah, that phrase says it all. Delivering actual lessons with instructor oversight. This isn't a simulation. It's real, hands-on teaching, but in a safe, supported way. This is where you really find your teaching style, build up your confidence, and truly start to feel like an educator. And, mastering a classroom isn't just about the teaching part. It's also about managing it. We're talking about the practical stuff, like how do you write a fair test? How do you make sure the vibe in the room is positive and respectful? And yeah, you got to know how to handle the paperwork and stay compliant. These are the skills that really make you a pro. So we've walked through the whole journey, right? The curriculum, the hands-on experience. The last piece of this puzzle is deciding where you're going to do all this. And that's where the idea of choosing the gold standard comes in. This is Louisville Beauty Academy's motto. And honestly, it says a lot. Gold standard. Okay, that means excellence. Legal compliance. That means they do things by the book. But that last part, meets compassion. Wow. That's the part that really hits home, right? It shows they get that education is about people. And really, that's the ultimate goal here. It's not just about cranking out certified teachers. It's about developing leaders, people who are going to be mentors, motivators, and genuine role models for the next generation, people who are going to lift up the entire industry. So we come full circle, right back to you. You've got the skills, you've got the passion. Taking a step like this, it's about so much more than a new job title. It's about building a legacy. It's about passing on everything you know to empower others. So the only question left is, are you ready to shape the future of beauty?